Sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. Okay. So the YouTube lag was almost exactly the length of the 10-second intro.
Strong language on this stream. I can't fucking believe that. Sorry,
Now,
I had to.
No, nobody can fucking swear on this channel.
I know.
It's just an asinine thing to do.
Yeah. Fucking disgraceful is what it is.
Yeah, you don't want me to get demonetized before I ever get monetized in the first place, do you?
Oh, yeah, well, you know. Maybe I don't, just because maybe I'm never getting monetized, so no one else is. So,
yeah. I have no illusions about ever getting monetized.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you can monetize under 1,000 subscribers now, don't you? But it's the amount of hours, isn't it? You need to get.
Yeah.
It's just,
That's my thing. Yeah. When we were doing 2 shows a week, I was getting pretty close to it, especially because, back then we had more people coming in and we had shows that could run 5 hours.
Yeah.
And see, we have On the Sofa UK and Spooky Bed Hair and Demon Orb.
Hey.
Okay, so we got a bunch of UK crew here.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Molly and
my people are here. My people are here.
Yep. I have been thinking again about possibly changing the time or day that I do this. So, if there was a time anyone would care to suggest that would be more convenient to whatever time zone they're in, I'm just kind of putting that on the table for open discussion.
This has been pretty convenient so far. Well, except for when it gets to be during the earlier months where I have to run out in the middle of it.
Yeah, when it gets deep into the fall and the days get short.
Yeah.
I'd say this is a good time for me, and yet I hardly come off. I only really started coming back on in the last few weeks regularly. So.
Yeah. So what is it 8 o'clock there?
Yeah, it's just gone 8 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, so you're 6 hours ahead of me again.
Yeah.
When we do the clock switching, why can't we at least do it on the same weekend?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a stupid thing we should get rid of altogether. But if we're going to do it, can we at least coordinate it? Or is it one of those things that we're doing it on a different weekend just because we didn't want to do it the same day the English did?
Yeah, you're on freedom time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that for the entire existence of this country. It's not new, it's just who we direct it at.
Yeah.
But there are so many things that if you look into historically, that we do them differently just because we didn't want to do them the same way that the king said it should be done.
Yeah.
We've
got on, mate.
I have a Molly in the chat, and I have a Molly by my feet getting scratched on her neck.
I have not tried scratching the other Molly on her neck.
Yeah.
And And Jinx said, thinking about the word asinine as a curse word is asinine. Okay.
I give good shoulder rubs.
I have seduced at least 3 women by giving them a back rub.
I have a feeling I'll just get slapped in the face if I try that for some reason, but
Well, you need to ask permission first.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. Right, I'll make a note of that for future reference.
Yeah, well, one of them coming over to my apartment for the first time, she was always complaining about her back after work, so I offered to give her a back rub, and she stayed for 3 days, and we wound up having a 3-year relationship.
Not bad going.
Hell of a back rub.
Yep. Hell, that also
That must be
accounted
a-
for 3 of the 9 kids I helped raise.
So that's okay.
See, that's actually how most of
I'm
my
gonna-
relationships really got cemented.
I'm gonna.
Is like the kids or the cats really loved me.
As I have no. So obviously I have like zero luck with relationships, so I might need to take like detailed notes on back rubs from your perps. It might.
Yeah.
I think I could probably do. It's probably worse tips I could take.
Well, I have a terrible problem with, meeting people in the first place. But if I could somehow, skip past all that awkward first couple of date stuff and just get to the point that they'll come over to my place and we watch a movie together, from there on I can handle it pretty well. But to get up to that point, I have a lot of trouble.
I think that's you and me both. Still,
Well, if the first thing she says is, "Who are you? What are you doing in my house?" You probably screwed up.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was the other advantage, that I used to have a reason to go into their houses, because it's like, if they said something was broken, I could come over and fix it for them.
Yeah, I've actually been just convinced, but someone convinced me last week. I went out. I just long story short, went out with a few work colleagues for a few drinks, and I just sort of mentioned that I had just like completely abandoned like the idea of dating or relationships, like for good. I'd really gotten to that point. I just got and just one of my colleagues just persuaded me to give it one last go, and it's like, okay, but if nothing happens this time, it's like, then I'm done with this shit altogether. So
yeah, Bree, I think that kind of falls under the same heading as, no matter how many tools I have, I can't fix your relationship.
Hello?
Spine realignments, I don't do that.
Okay.
What? Were you not hearing me?
Everything seemed to go quiet for a minute there.
Well, yeah, if we're not all talking over each other, it's just dead air. There's nothing in between.
See what topic
anyway
today.
Huh?
International No Diet Day.
Yep. I was just about to go there. Yep. It basically started as a thing for people to, quit the fad dieting and just, develop a healthier relationship with food. Because, a lot of people, women especially, are pressured by society to conform to a certain image of femininity. And for a lot of them, that actually leads to, mental problems with dealing with food. Anorexia, bulimia, all sorts of things like that.
Well, I've been doing a body recomp for the past few months, so
I have been making a very conscious effort to make sure that I eat more vegetables, because I was kind of falling back into the routine of being, just too much meat and starch and not having the vegetables.
I'm finding the really high protein can be quite helpful. A lot more energy. It helps with building muscle.
Yeah, the high protein generally is good.
High thermic reaction for burning it. Though I do need to actually up my calories. I've been falling a little bit behind on that, and I think I need to actually increase a little bit.
Molly's giving me credit for helping with her son. That's just because he and I are both autistic and we're fairly close to each other on the spectrum. So I spend a lot of time trying to translate between Molly and her son.
Really, there isn't too much of a trick or bad diet behind losing weight or gaining weight. It's just a matter of really just controlling the calories. Just put yourself in a calorie deficit, exercise, walk. You can just walk for exercise. It's usually actually one of the best ways to burn fat. Do it in the morning before you have breakfast, so you're burning, so your system is relying on the calories it already has rather than what you're putting into it.
And strangely, I weigh a lot less now than I did when I was a postal worker, and my job was literally to walk miles and miles a day. So.
Well, walking before breakfast. How do you induce sleepwalking?
Well, whenever you wake up.
Oh, okay. So now you're before lunch.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, actually, I have my lunch here. So
most of these fitness things I've been watching recommend about 10,000 steps a day. That's quite an awful lot, though. To be honest, so just do as much as you can.
Yeah, that was another thing that it just kind of, it started with somebody saying it and it went viral. But I've seen even a lot of, doctors and fitness people saying that for most people, that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go for more like 5,000.
Yeah. With me walking Molly, I average about 4,000.
Yeah. Yeah, when I had a dog, I was, walking at least 3 miles a day, just taking the dog around the park.
Though with on my days where I'm working on my legs, I actually will push it to about 12,000 steps.
Yep.
But other ways you can help if you sit at a desk a lot, maybe like at home. Try just standing up and just walking in place for a little bit.
Yep.
Or running in place. That'll help. Do that for about 5-10 minutes. Another thing that can help is right after you eat, you just kind of pace back and forth a little for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They'll keep your body from wanting to store the fat as fat rather than burn it.
Yeah, and Gina's right. A diet is simply whatever you eat.
Yeah. So there, like I said, there isn't there's any magic fad to it.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything really fancy.
Yeah, mostly like you say, it's basic math. It's just, if you're burning more calories a day than you're eating, then you're going to start losing weight.
Yeah.
So, well, Bree, I was going to say there used to be a saying in our country that it's postmen do it twice a day. So.
Twice a day for post?
We used to. They abandoned the second post. I mean, well, in truth, they abandoned the first post because it gets getting later and later. And actually, the UK, it's actually been glorious. Though I'm not there, just watching the downfall of the Royal Mail. Actually, it's been because they are putting so much effort on like parcels that they're supposed to like deliver like letters on a daily basis to everywhere in the country, and I know for a fact that people are only getting like letter deliveries like twice a week, and they're denying this, and I was like saying they were doing this right the way back to the pandemic. Now during the pandemic, it somewhat made sense because we were short on numbers and the social distance, so we had to be a bit more. But it's like you kind of not had that excuse now for like 5 years.
Yeah, the Republicans are trying to privatize the U.S. Postal Service,
Oh
which
yeah, that's
happened
gonna
to
go
be the
great.
only
Got
government
to.
agency that ever showed a profit.
I'm going to tell you now, because they did that here. You've got to fight it. You got to fight that one.
Yeah,
'Cause,
it's definitely a bad idea. And one of the things, like you said, about them delivering to everywhere in the country is that if they privatize it, you can bet they're going to cut out a lot of rural routes. A lot of people who live in rural areas won't get mail to their home anymore.
Well,
I was just saying,
as the Republicans have a good idea.
yeah. I just see on the sofa is saying about delivering leaflets for the Greens. Yeah, I'm strongly. See, I'm a real conundrum tomorrow about whether to, because we got local elections tomorrow across the UK. It's only like council elections, but I've got a real conundrum of, do I vote for the Greens, who's probably the one I want to vote for, or am I going to have to like vote tactically for a Liberal Democrat to try and keep a Reform UK person out? Because it's one of those things, because I know that the Greens are not likely to win the ward that I live in. They're probably likely to finish last. Unfortunately, I live in this ward where it is generally it's either Conservatives or Liberals, but we've had this scourge called Reform UK. I don't want to reform, but my heart wants to vote Green. But there's a bit of me that's thinking, do I vote Liberal Democrat tactically to try and stop getting a Reform councillor? That's the conundrum I'm in.
Well, my usual thing is I've been in the thing. You should probably just vote how you feel, but for strategics, that depends on whether you're in a area that like swing definitely could swing one way or the other, or is definitely already locked in. If you're in a spot that's pretty much already locked in, you might as well just vote however you feel.
Well,
but if it could swing either way, then do the tactical vote.
Except that's not so much the case here in the U.S. anymore. There was a news report that yesterday, I forget the name of it, but it's a suburb of Dallas, Texas, that had been, strictly Republican for like 50 years. And yesterday they elected a black Democrat as mayor.
Well, I'm not sure we can put anything on the table for the U.S. The U.S. is completely fucking insane right now.
Well, and unfortunately, we do have a situation that, I hear very few people who like the Democrats. So it's basically, are you voting for the Republicans or against the Republicans? It's hard to find anybody who thinks the Democratic Party is really going to do much.
I'm not sure. Considering they're not going to do anything, I'm not sure it's really a vote against the Republicans, because people are going to vote for the Democrat that's become disenfranchised by the assholes who are going to sit there with their thumbs up their asses and go right back to the fucking Republicans who are going to fuck things up even more.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
That's the problem. That is the problem. But to a similar degree, we've had the same problem, because really, I don't think it looks really like there was a massive swing to the Labour Party in our last general election. Now, there was, but I think it was more the case that people had had enough of the Conservatives after 14 years, rather than any great hope in the Labour Party. But even what little hope I did have in Keir Starmer, and that was not much, he's disappointed me even more than I thought he could, and I didn't have much hope in the guy to begin with.
Yeah, we really need ranked choice voting.
Though there are some bright sides. There do seem to be a few actual progressive Democrats coming through. So there is that.
Yeah. Interestingly, the city of Minneapolis has adopted ranked choice voting for their local elections.
I think America badly needs to reanimate the corpse of Eugene Debs and bring him back. Now I think it's there needs to be something other than that two-party system you've got over there. But then how can I lecture because our political system's so fucking great here as well, So
okay, I need to address this question. No, I still have not heard anything from Jenni's family. So, I think they've kind of dropped the ball and they just didn't think the online people were important enough to notify us.
Yeah, that's a shame. Well, at least you were able to uncover that post from her cousin. So that was very helpful. Well, thank you for that, Jenni.
Yeah, we appreciate that you were able to find something for us.
Yeah, no problem. So, first off, can you all hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, you sound good.
Yeah.
Okay. Do those of us in the Minnesota area, do you think we might be able to pull together plans to meet in person?
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I would assume that probably, Minneapolis would kind of be the center hub where we'd wind up meeting. Bit of a drive for me, but realistically, I think the majority of people are probably somewhere around the Minneapolis-St. Paul area.
Yeah.
Finding a date for it is going to be a bit of a problem because I've got, a lot of weekends are already filled up for me.
So, who all would we be? Who all would be interested in doing that? I know ReGios lives, in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, and alias fake name is up here.
Okay.
I've actually been talking to Junie, about her driving up here one day. She's in Wisconsin right now, but she's going to be moving soon, so it's kind of going to be, last chance for me to see her again before she moves out to being several states away.
Yeah, I suppose one of the things that's maybe sort of think about, obviously losing Jenni, it's like this online community. I suppose it's very difficult for me with these people across the pond, but it's maybe real. Like one day I am going to have to get across the pond and try and meet some of you guys. It's I've only ever had 3 people I've known from YouTube that I've actually ever met in real life. One's a Christian guy I've had 2 debates with. One is Joe from Answers and Reason, and the other one was Sarcastic Barman. They're like the only people I've ever met up with in real life. But
well, I've been to the ARC protest twice, so I got to meet a good number of people each time there.
that would almost be worth me going back to Kentucky again just to do that, actually.
Yeah.
Because the last time I was in the US, I was in Kentucky. So
I was hoping to do that again this year, but that was before gas prices doubled. So I don't know if I can afford the budget for it.
It's
I drive a van for practical reasons, so it doesn't get the greatest gas mileage.
I'm just waiting for the inevitable clash between ICE agents and England football hooligans in the World Cup in a few weeks. I think that could be quite interesting.
Oh, that would be fun.
Well, I would count gas mileage as part of practicality.
Yeah, but, well, with the van, at the time, one of the big criteria was to get Slothgirl in her wheelchair in there.
Yeah.
But also I still do a lot of projects, so I still wanted something that I could actually, haul full sheets of plywood in. So this is really the smallest thing I could find that you could lay a 4x8 sheet of plywood in the back and still close the hatch. So, something I've often wondered about. Why is it in the US that if we want to send a letter, we have to take it to the post office and it comes in the mail? Whereas in the UK, if you put it in the mail, it comes in the post.
Well, you actually have to take your letters to an actual post office to post them.
No, not always. That was just part of the joke.
Oh, okay. Oh, mail and post. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we only have to go to the post office if we got, packages we need to weigh.
It's a similar thing here, really. There's, yeah, you've got the sort of small blue letterbox type post box or something. We've got traditionally we've got the red ones.
Yep. And Lego has made a lot of the red ones. They have never actually made one that looks like a US post box.
Oh, speaking of Lego, what was that Lego thing you were trying to show me in the DM group?
Oh, did the image not come through?
No, it didn't. Just like how mine, my little video didn't come through.
Okay, yeah. Because again, I could see it on my end, so I wasn't aware that nobody else could see it.
Elon Musk's improved chat, people.
Excuse me. Okay, you guys keep talking. Give me a minute, and I can bring the image up.
Sure.
Hey, mate, maybe Elon will buy the US Postal Service, and you have X-Mail or Mail X or something over there.
Yeah, probably. That's probably what we'd call it. Or maybe I'll just try and roll it into who is almighty X of everything, which is apparently what his plans were for Twitter.
That had actually been his plan for PayPal back when he had a voting share in it.
Yeah, and they booted him out because he was being an ass.
Yep. But found out something interesting that close to 20% of the Cybertrucks sold are being bought by SpaceX. So, yeah, Elon is buying the Cybertrucks just to prop up his own numbers for how the sales are going.
I've seen a few around
They
here.
are such a stupid vehicle. They really are.
And they're uglier in person.
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure. I know a lot of countries have not banned them outright, haven't they? I mean, I'm not sure if they're here in the UK or not. I'd have to look into that.
They don't allow them in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, we had enough sense to.
Yeah, even the EU says they don't meet safety standards to be on the roads in Europe.
I mean, I remember one time we had the scourge. Well, one of the great big scourges from the United States came across in the mid-2000s was Hummers. We had a little craze with Hummers for a while.
Yeah, and I don't see how those even fit on your streets.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to talk about, but I can remember one time when I was out riding with a few friends of mine on motorcycles and on a sort of dual carriageway, and we got cut up by someone in a full stretch Hummer limo, almost run my friend off the road. But he did actually, because he had quite a heavy motorcycle boot. It's a quite impressive dent he put in the side of this thing with his boot. When they tried to run him off, when they almost ran us off the road.
Okay, so here's what I had been trying to show in the group is that with the summer releases from Lego, you will be able to build Mage.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's yep.
Yeah, you can build 3 different animals with it. The main one's a gray wolf, but then you can see on the side it also has instructions for a raccoon or a falcon.
I might have to get that.
For I remember going to some an art exhibition in London a few years ago, where they had built all these sort of huge models of DC characters and that out of Lego. It was quite. They've done there was this full size Batmobile that was done out of Lego and stuff. It was just quite. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, those big statues get impressive, and they're very planned out too.
Yeah, I've been to the Lego store in Mall of America, and they've got several of those laid out. When I was there, they had a set of 3 dinosaurs that weren't quite life size, but one of them was some kind of a sauropod that was probably about 15 feet tall.
I was at the Mall of America once. My dad had to go up to the area for a business thing, and took me along. You walk the perimeter, just the floor perimeter, not going upstairs or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see how long it would take to get around in the entire mall. It was a 30-minute walk.
I remember, because I used to watch pro wrestling a lot back in the day. The first ever WCW Nitro came from the Mall of America. And interesting and weirdly enough, you mentioned it because the bloke who owns World Championship Wrestling, I've heard, died today. Ted Turner.
Yep.
So.
Turner died?
Yeah, he died today.
So
87 years old.
Inheriting his broadcasting empire.
He sort of found. He sort of found himself on the outs in his own company with that AOL Time Warner merger, didn't he? So, because they moved in with he merged with Warner, didn't he? Like the TBS did. And then there's that disastrous AOL merger. And Turner kind of found himself almost squeezed out of his own company, really. So
I didn't know how that had all worked out in the end. But yeah, when cable TV came out, that's TBS Superstation.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. Because he was one of the first ones to get contracts with all of the major cable companies, so that he was shown, in virtually every market in the U.S.
Well, it really as well. He said the 3 things he built the station on were professional wrestling, Atlanta Braves baseball, and I think the Andy Griffith show or something. I think those were the 3 main things that he built his station on.
Well, and Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
That was before there was Cartoon Network, so there wasn't a station dedicated to just cartoons, so he got the kids viewing in the afternoon.
CNN founder Ted Turner, pioneer of cable TV news, dies.
Yeah, the news was also a big thing. There wasn't, like CNN or 24-hour news station on either.
I think he's probably one of the first people in the world, as far as I know, who did that, a 24-hour news station on like cable. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone who did it before him, but I think CNN was definitely like the first one I'd ever heard of. And obviously we started like having, obviously, when we started having like Sky News and then obviously BBC News. When we got a few now, we've got this horrible one called GB News, which is trying to be like the Fox News of the UK, you know, and it's just...
Yeah, though the 24/7 news thing gets a little silly at times. It's like when they had that, I can't remember which flight it was. It went down, but they're trying to do a 24/7 coverage of it, and they basically have a newscaster there with a toy airplane in playing with it.
Mm.
What was he trying to do? Recreate a crash?
Yeah, basically. Then we think they crashed like this.
Yeah, I can always remember there was this brilliant sitcom in the mid-1990s on British TV called Drop the Dead Donkey, which was set in a newsroom, like a cable news station. And it was so funny. He had the star reporter. This guy called Damien Day, who just had zero journalistic ethics whatsoever, and was always staging stories. And it was so funny. This like little stunts that he pulled, and he'd always get caught as well. It was just a weird thing. He'd always get caught with the little unethical stunts that he would pull to get a story. It was really funny.
I remember it was either a news reporter or a weather reporter. There was this woman, and she just sit there, tell the news and strip naked.
I'd heard about that. I never actually saw it.
I've seen video of it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember Spooky. You're right. Yeah, Ted Turner. He was married to Jane Fonda for a while, wasn't he?
And it wasn't like she was doing any, putting on some kind of seductive dance or sounding. So she was just reading the news, like casually and just taking off her clothes.
Yep. And I forget what station it was. There was a weatherman who always wore a green suit, so all you saw was a floating head and occasionally his hands. Okay, yeah, Unfinished Journey dropped down to the side because he's having trouble with his audio. I thought he sounded fine, but...
Yeah, sounded fine to me. Maybe it was cutting in and out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had something else I was going to ask, and now I can't remember it.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll forget later.
Yeah, I'm already. I think I mentioned that I'd earlier when I said it that I'd sort of been convinced to give dating one last go, and I'm already having fun on the dating sites with the bots. It's that they don't. That I thought I was sort of thinking I haven't missed this at all, you know. I always used to have a little bot detector, but I'm always afraid now AI is going to make some of them might be AI, and this might be a little
those AI detections is crap.
Funniest one was you get this message or whatever from this woman like, hi, how are you, blah, blah, blah. And you can sort of tell, is this a bot, is this a real person? So like one of the first questions I just randomly asked something like, what do you think of Hume's problem of induction, just to see what the response would be.
Actually, the thing I've been doing to test for bots, at least on Twitter, is if somebody's trying to argue with me, I was like, yeah, but you forgot about a chocolate cupcake or something nonsensical like that, and see how it responds. If it basically like ignores the response and it keeps trying to argue with you, like like nothing happened, then you're probably dealing with a bot.
Yeah. You hear the thing that's going around?
I would say if I get an answer on Hume's problem of induction, it means I'm either dealing with an AI or I'm dealing with someone who actually really knows philosophy. So it's one of two things there, isn't it?
Well, there's also the problem I've mentioned before that I always thought that the Turing test could be followed up if you had one group of autistic people, because I think most neurotypical people would identify at least half of the autistic people as being bots.
Yes, in fact, that does happen. A lot of, especially with writing, in these detecting AI writing things will more often detect something that's written by somebody who's neurodivergent as AI, because that's actually how the natural writing is. In fact, that even happened to me. I actually tried testing one of these AI writing detection things out. Well, I took something I wrote myself, put it into it, and said it was a 50% AI. And then I took something from Novel AI, total 100% AI. I didn't even put in any prompts or anything to tell it. I just hit run the AI, generated about a paragraph of text, put it into the detection system, 0%.
This does not bode well for me finishing my novel.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of concerned about the story, the books I'm writing, because I actually am using some AI to help as an assist.
I mean, I think as an assist, it's okay. I mean, I think it's obviously there's a lot of debate around AI, isn't it now? And
Yeah,
and I get why some people think it's sort of cheating. I don't think it's necessarily cheating if you use it, but I think it's it's kind of if you use it to like write a whole book, yeah, that is kind of cheating. But
it depends. Well, I guess
you're just using a little bit of
assistance.
If you're just losing a little bit of assistance for something here and there, it's probably
I don't know. It depends on how it's being used. It's helping me out. What I'm doing is first of all, I'm just bouncing ideas off of it to help me kind of work out the ideas in my own head. And probably the more controversial way I'm using it is I'm having it draft after a chapter, and I'm using that as just kind of a guide for myself.
I can't take any moral high ground on like AI because I don't know if I'm the only person in the community that's actually interviewed an AI on my channel. So I don't know if I'm the only person who's done that.
I was actually thinking about interviewing an AI. I actually have. There was this. It was part of a test I was doing with. I found this site that allows you to create chatbots. So basically, it has a description section where you put in how you want the chatbot to act and how it describes itself and all that. So what I did was I left that as blank as I could, and then I started asking. Created the chat, and started asking it questions like, "What do you look like? What's your name?" And so on and so forth. And then whatever answers it gave me is what I filled the description in with. So effectively, the chatbot wrote itself.
Yeah, I interviewed the Atheist Alliance International's chatbot that they decided to put up on their website, and that was like basically like it's almost a crap version of ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, and also that particular chatbot also wrote a song that's on my channel.
Yeah,
it's the only 100% AI written song I have on there.
I'll say this. The only thing I'll say about the Atheist Alliance International chatbot, I've got more answers than that than I would out of anyone from Atheist Alliance International because they're all lying fucks in that organisation. So,
Yeah, I was just thinking of the idea if you interviewed a chatbot about flat Earth, that you probably would get a better conspiracy than most flat Earthers can manage to put together.
Actually, the interview I was thinking about doing with the chatbot was the interview about AI.
Well, I was doing this a bit tongue in cheek at the time because this was a few years ago when I was sort of covering the corruption scandal within Atheist Alliance International, so along with a few other people. But unfortunately, I've sort of not been able to keep on top of that story, because one of the people that really was a good source of he was a really good source of information about this. I've kind of had to break ties with the guy because I kind of found out he's a bit of a transphobe. So I don't know. Don't want to work with him anymore. You know.
Yeah.
So
there's also with the AI stuff. There's also noticed. I think some of the vitriol for it is just ridiculous. For instance, I've seen in situations where somebody puts out a book that they used AI to write, right? And people would buy it, read it, they gave it 5 stars. Later on, it came out that they used AI. Hey, they come back and change their rating to 1 star, saying it was garbage.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense, because the review should be about your experience reading it.
Yeah, and
that shouldn't matter.
Another interesting thing is with a lot of these AI, the music thing, people are saying, "Oh, that's all slop, it's all garbage." Most people actually can't tell the difference between in a song that was written by AI or performed by AI or in a song that was performed by a person. They have actually run tests on this. In fact, Kate Bionic Dance has been doing a little personal test similar to what was done in more of a bigger scale.
Is she still putting stuff out? I haven't been getting...
No, she hasn't been putting anything out, but I still interacted with her on social media, and she had this thing where I had like 4 songs. It's like, pick the one, and that it's AI or something like that, or I can't remember exactly how the ratio went.
I haven't spoken to Kate in like forever, so
yeah.
I like her. It's just I'm just going to make sure I try to keep off of the babies are atheist topic with her, because she and I are very, very. She gets very, very passionate about that one, and
we won't get into that. We won't get into that either.
Yeah, yeah. She gets very passionate about that one.
Well, I tend to. In general, I agree with her as in a pedantic sense, but
I don't at
it's
all.
not really a point. There's really no point to it.
She gets very passionate about that one, and I don't understand. It's like, but I tend to go with.
Well, I can understand, because the way people argue when an atheist is or isn't gets.
It gets silly. It gets very silly. I'm kind of like, I would say personally that if people ask me, well, what do you mean by being an atheist? I'm going to say I have a positive belief there's no God. But if someone's just going to say I lack a belief or whatever, knock yourself out. That's fine, but it's fine with me. But but people going to say, ask me what my position is. That's what it is.
My argument would be it's without belief in the existence of any gods, regardless of reason why. You may be actively disbelieving, like you said. You may be a lack of belief. It may be because you're just completely fucking ignorant of any gods. Maybe you've heard of some gods. You never heard of some, and so you just have no basis for belief in that, and so it really doesn't matter.
It's it's polysemous term, atheism. It's like, I think it's like I think I base a lot of my I like things like the babies or whatever. Like I tend to go with the Australian philosopher Dr. Graham Oppy on this, who I think is one of the better, better atheist philosophers out there. But he would describe like babies as being innocents of like the proposition or whatever. So I tend to go. I tend to base a lot of mine stuff on Oppy, to be honest. I tend to.
So that would be without belief in the existence of any gods because of ignorance.
Yeah. I mean, you could call it that. Yeah, it's
but
he would phrase he'd phrase it as innocent of the proposition rather. That's just the way his phrasing. But Oppy's quite a good read. Oppy is a really good. I actually quite like the fact that when he does the few times I've ever seen him do debates, like he is very civil, and he's not going on. He's not going to go on these debate shows where they're dumpster fires and so on. And he'll, you know, he's really quite civil with everything. He did have the misfortune one time of, I think he and somehow ended up in the call with Daft Dawkins, and even with him, like Oppie was really patient, but he said he did say afterwards, I didn't get the feeling that guy was actually engaging honestly, and we're like, no, he wasn't. No, and I was like, no, he wasn't. It's Daft Dawkins. He does not engage honestly. That's not what he's about.
Yeah, it is a different level between, you know, someone who has thought about it and doesn't believe in God, and someone who has never considered the question at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, but I'm just like, I get the only time I will really engage in the debate definition is if I have other atheists telling me that the way I'm using it is wrong, and I'm like, no, then I'm going to like to say, well, actually, no, I'm not really. So I'm kind of not, and here's why. But I'm not going to necessarily say that they're wrong either. So,
well, the only problem with the definition of being actively disbelieving is that you're leaving out anyone who would be just ignorant of the issue.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying I'm right, they're wrong. I'm saying that look, we're both right here. You know, but
that wouldn't be possible because that'd be so that's kind of in contradiction. And then,
well, I'm only sort of saying, I'm really saying that in terms of, you know, it's saying that there are multiple definitions out there and they're all quite valid. And but I think where I sometimes where I might get shitty about it is when I have dealt with atheists online who say that I am totally using the definition wrong and I can't use and I'm like, well, actually, no, I can use that. I can use my stance and then define and say it that way. It's absolutely valid to do so. And that's perhaps the only time I really will get into those arguments, because I feel like, because I don't, you know, I don't want to get the reputation as being the next fucking Steve McRae, for Christ's sake, on these arguments.
God, that guy's a jackass.
I mean, look, for my sins, I hung around that guy too long, to be honest. And I mean, but to be fair, I suppose if I'd not come across him, I probably wouldn't have found people like Oppie or so on. So I suppose in that respect, I kind of, that was a, you know, I discovered some good people through him, but then I was able to expand on what he's kind of, and find this a bit more nuanced than what Steve was sort of saying as well. So it's, but no, I mean, that guy, yeah, he is a jackass. It took me too long to realize it, honestly, but.
Yeah, don't worry. You didn't start off.
I only still sort of have him on Facebook because I just like occasionally seeing the crazy MAGA shit that he's posting on there now. It's quite spectacular to see.
Yeah, well, he didn't start off that way. He has
really, really gone off down the MAGA rabbit hole now. So
yeah, well, he went down over the years. I mean, he really doesn't do the same kind of show that he did if you were watching him 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, if I look back on it now, that's about the time I sort of started hanging. I still look at him now. I think, actually, yeah, he was an arrogant dickhead, and I should have seen it back then. But he was nowhere near as fucking crazy.
Well, he was always arrogant, but he made better,
arguments.
Made better arguments before.
Yeah,
for the most part. I mean, he always had the idiot, the atheist thing, but
that was it. That was his thing, though, wasn't it? That was sort of that was always his sort of thing that he would circle back to, is that the definitions argument, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, and discussions on a lot of other subjects. You know, you often have to say during the discussion that this is what I'm using this word to mean. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, I think sort of but you know, like I said, I've dealt with people who are equally as stubborn the other way though on that definitions thing as he would be, and that's the only time, like I said, I would engage in that to a degree, is if I'm being told, and I'm like, no, there is more nuance to this, and I think that's a lot of them, a lot of the, should we say, the atheists that I would deal with that are doing that of literally know all they know is from watching like the call-in shows or something like the ACA used to do, where they will, and that's literally all they know, which is like, hey, that's cool. There's always they're a good starting point for anyone, you know.
Well, Aaron Ra, you know, I've learned a tremendous amount from him over the years, and I have great respect for pretty much everything he's done. But he will still argue that rocks are atheists.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm fine with that.
Oh, that one's even more baffling than the babies one to me. But it's
about the same to me.
It is. It is.
It's on the same level.
It's on the same level.
Aware of the concept of God at all.
Yeah, it's impossible for a rock to have the concept of a God.
But it's like, I think Trolley Dave from Answers and Reasons sort of said, well, I could use the same logic and say rocks are vegans by the same sort of logic that's being used there, and it's like, but and because he said, well, because you can say that veganism is a psychological state of not consuming anything, because it's basically saying putting atheism into a psychological state, which is where I think the thing is. And you can argue, well, you could argue veganism as a psychological state using that logic if you had to.
No, not really. Seeing as veganism would be a lifestyle seeking exclusive of you have to remove all forms of animal consumption, which would not apply to rocks. No,
I kind of agree with Dave on that one. I've got to be honest. I kind of agree with Trolley Dave on this one. But because I think you could sort of call that a psychological state in the same way. But I mean, okay, well, we'll agree to disagree on this one.
That's dietary.
I think we'll agree to disagree on this one. But I still think, because the last thing I want to do is be here to just reignite the rocks debate. We seem to have a meltdown. There seems to be a meltdown in the community like every couple of years over this. It's been,
Well, I think it's kind of context dependent. Just who you're talking to about, how they're defining their religion and that, whether or not that's a valid argument.
All right, so if we're going to have arguments that I think are equally as valid, does 0.999 repeating equal 1?
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, Porpoise, we've been on about, your favorite person in the world,
Or is math invented or discovered?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with discovered.
No. Yeah, math is discovered. The numbers and symbols we use are invented.
Yeah. I'm going to go with yes.
That works.
Because it's the inclusive or, and if either one of them is true, both are true.
I'm going to go
with... I think you're right about that.
I'm going to go with I like turtles.
And Athena's going to beg for my attention. Yeah, it did sound like that. Has he gotten off of Rumble you're speaking of?
I don't even know. I have no clue if he's even on there or what. The only thing I see of that jackass now is I still have him, keep an eye on him on Facebook just to see the crazy fucking MAGA conspiracy shit that he's posting.
Well, I mean, if it weren't to me an obvious grift, it's like I understand you've lost the atheist audience. Now you're trying to piss an entirely new section of people off.
I don't think the guy's been. I haven't checked, but I don't think he's been on YouTube in for fucking months, to be honest. As far as I'm aware.
But
But yeah, I mean, the best thing we all decided to do was just ignore him.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, Porpoise, I'm going to say a lot of the fact that the critics of his started to ignore him. Actually, in a way, it was good for me in a way, because you weren't in those fights all the time. That actually sort of gave me a bit of, in a way, to actually see the issue. It made it easier for me to see the issues with him, I think, that I'd not seen before. So, yeah, I think it was a good thing, actually.
Plus, it's that person is not the only malignant narcissist on YouTube. Trust me on that.
No, there's and to be fair, there's a lot more with a lot more bigger followings and influencers than he has.
And he wasn't even the only one in that particular debate, because I think there were a couple on the other side that turned out to be just as.
Yeah.
You know, I had come to the conclusion just like an hour or two before we started the stream that at least part of the reason that I've never grown my channel is that I'm not narcissistic enough to care about how much exposure I get.
To be honest, I think a lot of the time with me, sometimes it's more just personal therapy sometimes than actually, if it gets some views, great, but, it's...
Yeah, it's personal therapy for me, too.
Yeah, well, that's, all this has ever been for me is just hanging out with some friends. Especially when I lived in Michigan, I needed to find some intelligent people to talk to, because
So how the hell did you end up with us?
anything. I had to be totally closeted.
Yeah. So then you ended up with us instead.
That's spooky. You haven't missed anything, I'm pretty sure. And I've just hit 10,000 followers on Clapper today.
Hey, well done.
Hey, congratulations.
And I took my last college final for my master's degree yesterday.
Okay. How are you
Awesome.
feeling about that?
I think I got a 90 on it.
Okay.
I could get higher if I wanted to, tell the professor, it's like, hey, this answer is wrong according to your own notes. But it's like, you know what? If it's really an issue, someone who got a lower grade will bring it up.
Yeah, teachers didn't much like when I did that. When we had the Scantron tests and I could show them that 2 of the 4 answers were equally valid.
Oh, I mean, my policy is if I make a mistake for my students, it's like I don't punish them for my mistakes.
That's a good
policy. If you had the answer right and I'm wrong and I marked it right, it's like, congratulations. Or if I accidentally hand you the answer key out, it's like, congratulations.
Yeah, well, the problem was, with public schools, too many of them were the standardized testing that nobody even seemed to know who wrote them. And it was just like, every school in the state used the same test.
See, I actually, I was jokingly was saying to someone today that I was training to use a machine at work, and they'd never used it before. And I just sort of said to them, listen, if you make a mistake, I'm going to tell you you made a mistake. And I said, and if I make a mistake, I'll tell you that you made a mistake as well. So it works both ways there.
I can't believe we're still talking about this, but I think he lost it when the non sequitur show broke up, because I think it might have been his one ticket to out of obscurity and poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think possibly the final straw is when he got. Possibly the final one is when he got drunk and fell flat on his face outside of Applebee's and smashed. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw that phase of him after he gave himself that head injury. He had a massive mark on his head. He looked like fucking Mikhail Gorbachev for a while there.
No, I mean, he's not. He has no relevance to my life anymore.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are more. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
There are more important targets for me to go after, which is why Clapper I'm making fun of politicians.
Yeah, that's so there's definitely people. Let's just say there's people with bigger influence out there that are,
Yeah.
that are doing real harm.
Yeah.
And even then, Michael on Clapper with those political jokes, which some of you have probably seen. Probably even think some of them are funny, but my goal is I almost never mock MAGA individuals unless they come onto like videos and comment. In that case, it's it's fair game because then it's on.
Mock MAGA?
Mock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's if you come on my turf and want to insult me, it's yeah, I'm going to respond.
Yep.
Otherwise,
on the wrong citation.
Otherwise, it's I'm not trying to make fun of them. They're not my enemy. They're just people who have believed something they shouldn't.
Hello, Robin.
Although I do get tired of the "it's Pat" jokes. Come on, people. It wasn't even a good Saturday Night Live sketch.
Goth Bosch incarnate.
Why is Spooky? Why are some of the
Actually, Perps, I've got to say, it was a really crappy dad joke you told last week. I actually got to use that at work because someone was putting some someone was putting this shelving together, and I kind of asked if it was IKEA.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, okay. I heard a joke actually a couple of days ago from a really good. They fell for it hook, line, and sinker. It was really great. It's quite spectacular to watch.
Yeah, that was one of Slothgirl's jokes, and actually, yeah, I went and I told that in my therapy group, and half of the people, it took them a minute to get it, and then it was kind of a communal groan.
Yeah,
and phrasing matters.
Yeah, well, I sort of gave them the preamble. I said, "What? Really? I didn't hear this." And then I did the punch, and they're like, "Oh, for Christ's sake, Jeff, that's awful."
Silly says, "Do not touch yourself. Ask the staff for assistance. You there? Customer service is needed."
Customer service needed at the porn counter.
It has been. So I am ready. I've got. Well, it's a shame Jenny isn't here because she won't see the picture of the master's robe. But
yeah,
she'd be proud of you.
I was saying just before the show started how I keep expecting Jenny to pop in backstage and show up. The rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, I wish that were the case. I really would wish that to be the case.
Wasn't that Mark Twain where?
Yeah.
The story had broke somehow when he was touring in Europe that he had died in the United States. Yeah. And then some reporter asked him, "It's what did you hear that you're dead?" He was like, "What do you hear?" Or ask him for a quote. It's "What do you have to say about the story that you're dead?" And he just replied, "It's the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated."
The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated, or something like that.
I mean, I don't think he died too long after that, but
yeah. Well, I always like there's a British comedian called Spike Milligan. And I love the fact that he had on his gravestone, he had the words, "I told you I was ill." On the...
Yeah, I was thinking, I was recommending "You're Next" for mine.
Yeah.
I've told my sister epitaph is going to be "Nothing is written in stone."
Yeah, it works too.
I am sure that mine will be. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
And probably a little emblem of a power saw on it.
And I've had to explain to my sister that despite her last wishes, I am not going to sprinkle her remains over the salad bar at the Ponderosa or Bonanza.
Are there still any of those left?
Yeah, I think I'd almost want to do something, at my funerals. It was a bit like there was this guy in Ireland. There's this video that went viral a few years ago when they're lowering the coffin into the ground. He had arranged for this speaker with a recording of his voice, and then all of a sudden, as they're lowering the box into the ground, you hear this, "Help!
So I need
Help!
to know
Get out of this box!"
which one of you is going to show up in the clothing I wore when I died, pull out a sonic screwdriver and say, "Right, this is where it gets complicated."
If I was around, I'd do that.
Yeah.
I saw a good take on that kind of thing. That there was a cartoon, that there's this kid there and this, middle-aged man appeared, kind of fat and balding and just in a stained t-shirt. And he said, I've finally done it. I've completed my time machine so I can go back and I can find out, how everything went wrong in my past. And the little kid looks at him and says, "Could it be when you were 8 years old and you were traumatized by a fat man showing you that your life will come to nothing?"
So is that on my end, or is everyone being quiet?
We're just being quiet. I know I had the same issue earlier.
I had to mute for a minute because I'm eating.
Ah.
I know,
Well,
it's so
this-
much quieter without Jenny, isn't it?
So this
Yeah.
is Teacher Appreciation Week. Everyone be sure to appreciate teachers, the people who if you listen to, you wouldn't be where you are now. Or would be, I don't know.
I was going to say I've got to blame someone, then, haven't I?
I can still remember a couple of good teachers I had over the years.
Oh yeah, I mean, I will say there's one or two that I do remember very fondly, just some just I think the ones that got you to engage, that get you might. There were a few of them that were really good, but I had a lot of really awful ones that would just sit there and read from the textbook as well. So,
Well, that's where my energy is this time of year, though. Anyway, because it's
yeah. But
Robin is saying invisibility is a hard
yeah.
trick, but I just don't see it.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. If you ever come this way, I'm going to have to introduce you to one of the local stand-up comics whose routine is all jokes that are as bad as that.
Yeah, well,
Okay. I mean, stupid one I had the other day says that solipsism is such a convincing idea. I'm surprised there's not more of us.
Oh yeah, you're worried about how the woman and on the other end being AI. Well, there's always this as well.
yeah. Yeah, just the body fakes.
Yeah, I have a joke about recursion, but you'll have to wait for me to reference this joke again to get to the punchline. The nice thing about recursion jokes, there's only ever one of them, and you can just tell it out over and over again.
Well, what Mage was just showing, just shows that, okay, so I'm starting to wonder, how many, OnlyFans pages then are going to wind up, being guys with an avatar on there.
Interesting enough, there was actually a community note on one of those videos that was posted saying that OnlyFans actually has to get the address and identification of the person, so it makes it harder to do that.
Oh well. So okay, so my next idea for a grift has just gone then. Oh well.
You can always start a podcast.
Yeah, true.
I do believe there are some of these sites that will allow AI, but I think you have to be upfront with it. Can't
Or
remember
on a
which one, but-
Tesla. Yeah, it was Tesla where the AI was coming back with pornographic material with children in the car.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't that one, but
But also,
Okay.
the only AI we need in our cars, other than like maybe a voice assistant, is the self-driving feature. We don't need Grok in our cars.
I don't know. I'm always been uncomfortable with a car that can be remotely hacked.
Well,
Yeah.
anything can be hacked, but I'm okay with like the entertainment systems being hackable. I just don't want the brakes and other systems that are crucial to driving.
Yeah, I think that's
Being
what
on a
Nate was
network.
referring to, was the ones that they could shut down the engine.
Because those should be two separate computers. And one of them does not need to be connected to the internet and the other one does.
Yeah,
But I think
like I said, remotely hacked.
I think they've stopped doing that because they realized it's like, hey, brakes probably aren't a good target for hacking. Or not brakes,
Hey.
but the
Hey, you didn't pay your monthly fee. You were gonna have to shut off your brakes.
I think Mercedes-Benz tried something like that, and there was even among Mercedes-Benz backlash with their backlash against it's like, no, we're not paying you an $18 per month subscription for heated seats.
Okay, so they gave up that idea? I thought that some of the manufacturers were still doing that.
I think they want to go through a subscription because it's guaranteed money, but I think a lot of people are just saying it's like, no. I mean, it's not like the yearly software subscription model where basically it's just the update software. You're paying for an update to the software every year. That's Adobe Premiere. And Adobe Premiere is still, or the Adobe Creative Cloud is still way too expensive.
Yeah, now see, that's the kind of thing like buying software. You know, it's like, I don't want something that I've got to pay for every month, because a lot of the stuff, I'm not even going to use it every month. You know, I'll maybe like wind up that 1 week I'll use it a lot, and then I won't use it again for 3 months.
I mean, the software subscription model is more for businesses that are going to get regular updates, regular upgrades anyway.
Well, see, and it's like, I would be fine with paying a fee for a yearly update. You know,
Well, I'm not paying Windows for that.
Well, no, not Windows. I'm experimenting with Tiny 10 on my other computer.
Seriously, just switch over to Mint. Its interface is simple enough, and I don't know if you need any software specific to Windows.
Well, will it run all the Windows programs?
Will it run all the Windows programs? I can guarantee it'll run all the Linux programs.
Yeah, well,
And many of the Windows programs.
Yeah, Windows can't even
see,
run.
that's the thing I'm still stuck in, that, you know, I'm mostly trying to find like public domain and free software, and the vast majority of that stuff is written for Windows.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Linux is...
I guess I don't know where to find the other stuff then.
I mean, Linux is open source. A lot of the stuff you need, unless you need like Adobe Creative Cloud or something, which you can get to run on Linux if you're creative with your tech skills, but
Nah. I hate Adobe as a company. I
Yeah.
avoid using anything with the Adobe name if I can.
Yeah, I avoid Adobe. I do have this thing. It keeps popping up when I restart my computer, saying, "Do you want to install this Adobe thing?" Like, no, remind me later.
I mean, I bought Creative Cloud out of curiosity. I've been using it. It's decent.
Yeah, you know, they also have to include another box with that, you know, when it comes up, it's got like install now or remind me later. And they need to have another spot that you can check that says never mention this again.
yeah.
Because, yeah, I've got a couple of those that come up every time I reboot my computer, and it's like, I have told you every single time for the last 3 years. Won't you give up already?
I know I should probably just go in and uninstall the damn thing.
Yeah, I would uninstall it. But yeah, it's like if you're just using open source and free stuff, it's like, why aren't you using Linux? The entire operating system's free. I mean, it's not for everyone, but it's a lot better than it used to be. So if you just need, like, I don't know, to use OpenShot or DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
DaVinci Resolve
OpenShot is what
myself.
I've used in the past. I haven't had to use it for anything lately.
I mean, they both have Linux versions.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, when I was doing edited videos, I was using Audacity and OpenShot.
Their Steam will run on Linux. Not all the Steam games will run on Linux, but there's a lot more games that will run on Steam now, and I don't think that's an issue for you. If you're looking for something like Word, you won't get Word running easily on Linux, but you do have LibreOffice.
Yeah, well, LibreOffice is what I'm using under Windows.
And that's usually pre-installed.
Okay. Yeah, as far as Steam goes, I've got about a dozen games I play on Steam, but, like, you know, none of them are like the ones that have real high system requirements. Because I'm not into the interactive games so much. It's mostly turn-based games.
Are you blowing your nose, Godless Scummer?
No, I am not.
It just sounded like some kind of wrestling rapper to me.
Yeah, sorry.
I've got a crap mic. I should just warn you, sir.
I've been dealing.
I'm on my phone and I've got a great mic.
I've been dealing with teenagers most of the day, and one of my classes, I frequently have to raise my voice, so it's like I get near to. I'm getting close to shouting with this class because I just need to be that loud to be heard. And I'm just so glad, like, the school year ends in 15 days now.
Well, with a room full of teenagers, I can imagine you can't get them all to shut up, and you've got to talk over them.
I wouldn't mind talking over them. It's that I have to raise my voice, which is not soft.
Do you have those? Do you still have any of those old blackboards, or is it all whiteboards now?
I have an old. A lot of the math teachers prefer blackboards. But
Well, if you have
the whiteboards.
Well, if you have one of those blackboards in the classroom, just run your nails across that. That'll get their attention.
No, that would irritate me.
That's the problem. Therein lies the problem. There's more. That's actually more uncomfortable to the person doing it than it's.
Well, just put earplugs in first, and then you got it.
It's the sense. I always found it's the sensation of scratching the actual board that was. Used to just. I used to find that really uncomfortable to do.
And yeah, it's just, I'm just so glad the end of the year is coming. I'm glad, like, one cognitive demand is over, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I decide to be Dr. Porpoise, which, let's face it, the world needs Dr. Porpoise.
I concur that Dr. Porpoise is the way to go.
Yeah.
Dr. Porpoise also has a more sinister feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Porpoise immediately conjures up the idea of, you know, you having your hideout on this small deserted island.
I mean, I could just start calling myself Dr. Porpoise and nothing would stop me. That doesn't require a PhD.
Yeah.
Well, we discussed this last week about you, but we think probably doing the Kent Hovind route is probably not.
I was going to say, I already have more legitimate degrees than Kent Hovind.
I think I've got more legitimate degrees than Kent Hovind, and I've basically got like GCSE level education. So,
and unlike him, and I would love to take his math test because I don't think they're that hard. I could be wrong, but it's like, I don't think he taught really advanced math.
Who Hovind?
I'm guessing it'd probably be about the same as taking Trump's IQ test.
Tell you what, I'll take one of Hoven's math test if he takes one of my tests.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Because apparently like he's claimed that he's taught like maths and science at high school level, or whatever. But I think what actually happened was that he was actually teaching a bunch of homeschool kids in like either a church or someone's house or something. That was the reality of what he was doing.
Probably.
It was a private Christian school, but
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
so he
Did
wasn't.
you hear that Trump reinstated the president's physical fitness program? And this isn't a joke. This is serious. That when he was presenting the idea to a group of school children, he said that he exercises about 1 minute every day. And he said it like that was something to be proud of.
I don't want to know what actual exercise he was doing for that 1 minute.
probably his toddler dance.
Doom scrolling.
I was thinking it was just swinging golf club.
Donald Trump has some weird ideas about health. Like he thinks you have a set amount of energy, and exercise uses it up.
Yeah.
In which case, if that were true, Trump, exercise as much as possible, please.
Yeah.
Well, he certainly doesn't understand anything about calories, or he wouldn't be eating at McDonald's all the time.
Honestly, I have to wonder if a lot of that's paranoia. Because you're a lot less likely to be poisoned if you keep getting fast food from different locations than...
Well, he's well preserved.
I mean, let's face it, if you're Melania and had access to his food,
Yeah.
you can't tell me Melania hasn't at least thought about it.
I had always wondered if the chefs in the White House had to learn to make Big Macs.
No, I think he wants like the McDonald's that's made there on premises one. The idea...
I'm surprised he didn't have a McDonald's open inside the White House.
All right, I need to go away for a bit to check on something. I will be back. Athena says hi, by the way.
Eto. Oh.
No, I can't say that on live stream.
Yeah, it seems there's quite a lot of idiocy in the news, like yesterday. Because just the stuff I saw, I just had a couple of short YouTube news pieces that I follow playing while I was getting stuff ready.
I've actually got.
Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, because I just saw it sort of on the sofas putting it out. I've actually got a guy that I work with. That he works sort of part time because he's at university in the UK, studying for like a doctorate. During break times one day, I showed him Kent Hovind's doctoral thesis to give him to read for it, and he could not believe what the fuck he was reading. He's like, what?
Yeah. I am convinced that when Melania married him, she figured that McDonald's would kill him in less than 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, the money couldn't be that good.
Let's just say, I think McDonald's takings is going to take a considerable hit when he dies.
Oh yeah,
and they're already going downhill.
That was never really fun under McDonald's.
I
Honestly.
mean, how far down the hill can you go with McDonald's?
Well, McDonald's was always, for me, the bottom choice for fast food.
Yeah, same here.
And the only thing was, that I liked the McRib.
I was okay with the chicken nuggets.
Yeah, but now Quick Trip has the McRib. They call it something else, but it's the same as the McRib, and they have it all the time. and it's cheaper than McDonald's, and I think they're actually better.
I
See,
have
Yeah.
So it
My-
has reached the point that I can get better
my-
food at a gas station.
Yeah.
Why should I go to McDonald's?
Yeah.
My go-to for fast food always used to be KFC, but they have gone downhill so badly. I think in the last but as well, the thing is as well is that you're starting to get other US like fried chicken or chicken based things coming into the UK now, like Popeyes are starting to pop up everywhere.
I don't
What
like
is
Popeyes.
Wingstop, we got a Wingstop not too far. It's like KFC are going to really have to up their game here because there's got us competitors coming because the only the only thing that did fried chicken ever, really in the UK it was KFC or nothing really, and now all of a sudden it's like they got competition.
Well,
People think that they're not that good.
Well, one of the founders, one of the people who were part of the founders, like grandchildren or something, released the recipe.
Well,
Yeah.
what McDonald's needs to do is bring back breakfast all day.
But the other one that's started to come back into the UK, they tried once before, like about 30 years ago, but they failed. But all of a sudden, Wendy's are starting to pop up in places around the UK.
Two of our Wendy's closed locally, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
I've been having fast food places closed all over this place lately.
I will say that the one fast food chain that tried to come into the UK a few years ago, and I'm glad they fell flat on their faces because their reputation preceded them. Chick-fil-A, they lasted about 3 months with their one outlet in the UK and it closed. But there was literally protests outside their one outlet every single day from the day it opened from like LGBT groups, so it was glorious that they got their reputation preceded them.
Well, before COVID, some of the KFCs used to have buffets. And on the buffet, they usually had a barbecue chicken. And why they had it on the buffet, but you could never get it for takeout, always baffled me.
Yeah. Here it is.
I couldn't understand why I couldn't just get a bucket of barbecue chicken for takeout.
Yeah. Here's the video I was looking for.
I already posted this once, but I'm going to do it again because people missed it. Kentucky Fried Chicken has blocked me on social media. For those who are new, I'm Colonel Sanders' great-great-great nephew. I'm the last Sanders in his family line. It does not mean I'm the last family member in his family line. My page has been dedicated for many years to upholding Colonel Sanders' legacy and the Kentucky Fried Chicken history.
And releases
that
the
involves
recipe.
more than just Kentucky Fried Chicken, but all the fast food restaurants my family was involved
Everybody
with,
get a
either
pen and
making
paper ready.
or helping start. They blocked me for upholding his true history to let people know who he actually was. And they blocked me for calling out their advertising team as weird, disrespectful, and disgusting. Over the last decade, they have sexualized my uncle for marketing purposes. They have encouraged fans to sexualize him as well. I cannot and will not support a company
It's
that
kind of
does
creepy.
this. My response to Kentucky Fried Chicken blocking me is, do you want to know how to make their chicken? Truly, genuinely, their chicken. This recipe I put together through facts. There is a lot of ingredients on here that could be proven through public information, and I gathered all that together and broke it down for you in several videos on my YouTube channel. So let Kentucky Fried Chicken deny this. If they do, I'll say, prove it. I have facts and receipts to back up my recipe. Show us what yours is. The other ingredients on this list that cannot be proven through public information is from my cousins on Lee Cummings' side. Because cousin Lee was the nephew that needed a recipe, not Joe Leddington, not that bullcrap that was leaked in 2016. Lee Cummings, nephew of Colonel Sanders, the Colonel's sister's son, knew what the recipe was. This was proven because he was sued in court for knowing the recipe, that he could not use the recipe. Here's a snippet of proof for that. He was barred from using 5 key ingredients of the original recipe in his own recipe, so he had to change his recipe up to be able to sell it. Cousin Lee wrote down the recipe and saved it in his recipe book. I always said the recipe is not an heirloom. It was not handed down by the Colonel throughout the family. I didn't say anything about Cousin Lee. My grandfather and I came up with the measurements. The measurements are not from the recipe book. Those are from our own. You yourself could play around with the measurements until it's to your liking. The measurements I'm providing is what my family likes. This is the chicken we cook in our house. Now you could cook it at your house. If you don't want to boycott KFC alongside of my family,
Or if you can't find a KFC,
try it next to mine. Tell me which one's better. To cook this chicken, follow the instructions Colonel Sanders left behind. If you happen to have a pressure cooker, use that. If you don't, follow the instructions to the best of your abilities with what you have. Use cake flour. Use lard or vegetable oil. And add the salt and MSG to the flour after the 11's mixed with the flour. Do the 7-10-7 method. Film it and tag me in it.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, that was the real key
Mm.
to what made the business for Colonel Sanders.
From what I understand, though, I mean, if you guys, but didn't Colonel Sanders himself, like before he died, he was kind of on the outs with, the company that he'd founded, because he'd sort of and he kind of came to despise Kentucky Fried Chicken sort of by the end of his life. Yeah,
he took issues with a lot of their advertising campaigns.
Yeah.
But, that the thing that made the restaurant in the first place was how cheaply he could get the stock.
Yeah.
Because instead of using the fryer chickens that everybody was buying, he was buying up the retired laying hens that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
But by putting them in a pressure cooker, he was able to get them tender.
But I think originally, though, that when he was selling when he was trying to sell the fried chicken, there weren't like necessarily like designated KFC restaurants. It was like he'd go to like sort of diners and drive-throughs or whatever, and sort of like sell his recipes as a kind of franchise thing. But it wasn't exclusively doing his stuff. And now, I do believe that the guy who founded Wendy's was a very early employee, or someone who bought into KFC quite early on as well, and then obviously broke to form Wendy's. But
Dave Thomas was the founder of Wendy's.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the history if he has history with KFC or not.
I do think he had, if I remember correctly, he did have some history with KFC. I can't quite remember. Yeah. That's kind of how he
but still, that's KFC is one of those weird things you occasionally get a craving for, and it has to be KFC. It can't be anything else.
Yeah, I still like it once in a while.
Well, I was watching a thing they're doing a side by side a taste test between Popeyes and KFC, and first of all, the two people testing it couldn't even tell which one was which, and they said that the Popeyes was better.
I've only ever had Popeyes a couple of times. Like, Popeyes is way better than KFC, but honestly, I could do better fried chicken in my air fryer at home than KFC do, quite frankly.
Sorry, I like KFC and do not like Popeyes.
Yeah, Slothgirl always liked Popeyes better. I always like KFC better. So it's just a matter of taste.
I've never had Popeyes, so I can't compare.
I'm not Cajun, I'm Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, I can do better. Like, I could do better fried chicken in my air fryer at home than KFC.
So why hasn't the Presley family come up with the King's Fried Chicken? You think they could find his recipe? Well, I don't know if he had a recipe, but we do know he loved fried chicken.
Yeah.
And of course, there's no Popeyes in my area that's close enough to want to drive to.
Well, the other big chicken chain, I think, is Church's, which we're supposed to get one here, and I've never had it.
Because I'm trying to remember. I think Church's and Popeyes at one time were owned by like the same company, but that sort of went sideways and they sort of split again. So,
and Church's is even further away from me. In fact, the only one that's within I would consider within reasonable driving range is Chick-fil-A.
I mean, we do have a Wingstop here, but
Yeah,
This kind of gives you an idea of it kind of gives you an idea of how.
We've had where I live. We have one of the first wing stops in the UK, and that stuff's really good.
It kind of gives you an idea of how shitty the fast food area is for my area. Chick-fil-A is my option for chicken.
Yeah. I mean, just on. I have heard that Chick-fil-A is supposed to be really good. It's just
it's okay, and I've eaten there before with.
If it was here in the UK, on point of principle, I wouldn't go there.
Well, I've gotten free food from it, so.
Speaking of chicken, do you think my chicken nuggets and tater tots would have done better if I'd put them in the oven like I intended to?
Yes.
Or at least it couldn't be as bad as my grandmother trying to boil little hamburger patties.
Well, this was just I thought I'd already put them in, and then I went up to check on them. It's like, wait, they're still on the counter, and the stove's on, so let's just fix this issue.
My ex's aunt put a frozen pizza in the oven one time, and after a few minutes, there was a weird smell.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I was in the living room, but I could hear this from the kitchen, that the argument starting. And apparently she pulled the box out of the garbage and was saying, "Show me in the instructions where it says to take the plastic off."
So that's the reason why they have take the wrapping off now in the instructions.
Yeah. Yeah, this was 25 years ago.
Anyone who's been in charge of people realize it's like sometimes you'll need to specify rules you didn't think needed to be said.
Yeah, well, that's, a lot of products sold in the U.S. have some bafflingly stupid instructions on them. And it's because of people like that who not only will do that, but then will turn around and try and sue the company for it.
Well, I've seen people trying to cook the pizza with the wrapper on it.
I don't know if this story's true or just one of those urban legends, but I did hear a story many years ago about someone in the US suing like a microwave manufacturer because she tried to dry her cat out in the microwave.
I think that's
an
urban legend.
I was going to say, it sounded like one of those stories that I'm like, is that really happening? But I didn't.
No, if it did happen,
looked into that and they could not find anything to support it.
Though if it did happen, I'm sure it happened in Florida.
Although the McDonald's coffee cup thing was overblown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I am familiar with that one, but.
Well, it actually had a legitimate thing at the base of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the McDonald's in question had a history of overheating their coffee, and
that even the restaurant inspector had cited them on 3 occasions for delivering it too hot. So they had been told that this was a potential safety issue for their customers.
And it wasn't user error that they ended up spilling it either. It was the thing wasn't secure the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah, the lid wasn't on the cup right. But I'll even give them that because, the employees are under so much pressure to just do everything as fast as possible that, once in a while, they're not going to get the lid on the cup all the way.
Yeah, that's true. I've had to go over the 7-Eleven to get coffee. I've had issues trying to get the lid on right before, so I can imagine in a rushed state where you're trying to handle other people, well, that could happen.
Yeah, well, when you're trying to get 100 people through the drive-thru who are all already crashed because they're going to be late for work.
Other things I thought I would never have to make a rule for is don't have your hands around each other's throats, even jokingly. And then it's like, you never told us this. It's like, that's because I didn't think I would have to.
Let me guess. This has to do with a classroom thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like,
That's a teenager. That sounds like a teenager thing.
Yeah. And I think in general everybody will agree that teachers are underpaid.
Oh yeah.
But have you really thought about this? Of how much would they have to pay you to be in a room with 30 teenagers every day?
at least 40,000 per year, apparently.
Though Miss Brown, from my high school back in the day, I think was probably overpaid. She sucked.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was going to say, that's the class that also just... The nice thing about my job is I can regularly schedule a headache right now, and right now it's between 12:50 and 1:35. Last semester it was between 2:30 and 3:15.
Well,
yeah,
at least
like...
you get to set the schedule a bit then.
Oh, I don't get to set which when it's gonna come. It's like once the semester gets going, you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I never had Miss Brown as a teacher, but I interacted with her a few times, and I did have other classmates who went into a class with her, and yeah, she was as bad as they said that she was.
Well, one of the things I always hated was, in my family, I was the youngest of 9. So it was pretty much guaranteed that every one of my teachers had probably 2 or 3 of my older siblings. So It's like I never had a chance to have my own identity. I was already, always, somebody else's younger brother. And, so basically the teachers already had an image of what I was going to be. And it's like, whether it was good or bad, it just sucked because I never got judged on my own merits.
Oh, another Weasley. I know what to do with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will not. Mr. Potter, our new celebrity.
Yeah, I was actually listening to a little old bit. It's a British comedian called Mark Steele earlier. He did these sort of like things called the Mark Steele lectures back in the day, where he like take a figure from like history. Like he did one on like Aristotle, but he was sort of saying about like how young children are like. When they're really young, you're always asking, "Why's this do this? What happens here? What you like? What all these things? And the parents are like, bloody kids asking questions, want to learn all this stuff all the time. We'll send them to school. That'll sort that out. There's a lot of truth in what you say today.
Wait. Yeah, it's... I don't know. It was something I always had trouble with all my life. And another part of the reason why I always felt it was better to live a good distance from my biological family.
So, totally off the wall tangent here, but does anyone know the lyrics to the original Greensleeves?
No, I don't.
No.
As a Brit, I should know that really, but no.
Off the top of my head, but I can probably look it up.
Go ahead and do it because it's like... But I was looking at them and I realized it's like, oh, Greensleeves was actually just supposedly about a promiscuous woman or possibly a prostitute.
I see you sort of like
Here
twang,
it is.
I sort of see you twanging away there, Porpoise. Can I say, do you still play the harmonica?
Yeah.
Henry
Yeah.
VIII, alas, my love, you do me wrong to cast me off discouragedly, for I have loved you well and long, and delighting
So
in your company. Green sleeves with all my yada yada.
Henry
green
VIII
sleeves.
did not write it.
Oh,
That's
most
never
of
been
it. Most of it was labeled under.
But I just realized, like, looking at the lyrics and looking at the history, it's an early example of slut shaming. The guy's mad because a woman turned him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've broken in like my heart. Oh, why did you so enrapture me? I remain in a world apart, but my heart remains in captivity. The lyrics for the chorus. I have been ready, yet your hand to grant whatever you would crave. I have both swayed your life and land, and your love and goodwill for her to have.
Good old
Well,
Henry
that's like-
VIII, eh?
Henry
If
VIII
you-
didn't write it.
If you well, that's like I said. This is what it was. This is what it's listed under as Henry VIII. But whatever. If you intend and thus to disdain, and it does the more enrapture me, and ever so I still remain. I love her in captivity. My men were clothed all in green, and they did ever wait on thee. All this was gallant, and yet thou wouldn't not love me, green sleeve.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and there's no need to continue the lyrics, but
Okay.
it is a common myth that Greensleeves was written by King Henry VIII. However, Henry could not have written Greensleeves, as the piece is based on an Italian style of composition that did not reach England until after his death.
Mm.
Well, then I guess the lyrics site has it wrong.
Well, you were saying it was slut shaming. You know what the difference is between the slut and a bitch?
Go on.
A slut will sleep with anyone. A bitch will sleep with anyone
but
you.
you.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So I must know a lot of bitches. Then I don't.
Well, I guess I'm a bitch because I won't sleep with quite anyone, but
Are you a bitch? You're a tease. You're a goddess on your knees. Sorry, that song's kind of weird.
yeah.
I haven't. You just reminded me. I haven't heard that song in forever, but you just remind me of that, though. Yeah.
Well, I picked it as a karaoke song once, and I put down the title.
Yeah. I think the last time I did karaoke, the last time I ever did karaoke, I did Monty Python's Bruce's Philosopher's songs.
Well, the thing is, I put the title down, and it didn't get in the rotation because the person running the DJ software thought I was calling her.
Oh.
Because that's the song's title.
Yeah.
I had to explain. It's like next time. It's like, no, this is the song title. And when I looked up, like, really, that's the song's title? It's like, no, that's the song's title. No, but it's like, I'm gonna say almost every bar around here does karaoke because it's a cheap form of entertainment.
Yeah, get a few drinks in somebody, you get them on stage, sing badly.
Yeah, well, one of the other things that, should have indicated about me being trans is when I heard for the first time Take a Walk on the Wild Side, I thought that was something to aspire to.
And I had actually forgotten about the trans character in one of the animes I've been rewatching Tessera.
Ah.
Yeah, in the anime Log Horizon, and they have all these characters who end up being trapped in their avatars, and being that there was a game, some of the players were using character models of the opposite sex.
Oh.
All right. I have to ask. Sorry, there's a question in chat, and I have to ask. It's like, what is the energy of a transsexual? What kind of energy did we give off, Purple?
Yeah, so I had just been looking at that when you said
I'll have to say this is a question I cannot answer.
Well, Goth was saying some other things before about, spirituality and that. Basically about your spirit continuing after death is, part of their beliefs.
And how do you measure this energy?
Kilowatt hours, I think.
I expect it involves crystals.
Yeah. Well, is spirit science still around? And if so, why?
I have no idea. I have not. I maybe going back a few years ago, I just would watch two of those videos just for a laugh, but like I have no idea if that's still going.
I'm pretty sure they still are. Sir Sick did a response to one, maybe 6 or 7 months back.
I do miss Mortimer 81 covering Jordan.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Mortimer 81 in a while either, but if he's an educator, they're likely going to be busy until June.
No. Yeah, I've also been wondering, it's like a couple of years, Non-Stamp Collector made a sudden comeback and was promising to do more videos, and then haven't seen any more videos.
Well, I think, let's be honest, I think that's the arc I'm on at the moment. I came back and live streamed for the first time in like 2 years on Saturday, and like I'm going to try and do more, and then I'm like, am I though? This is the thing. Am I going to actually do? To be fair, I did sort of say I'm going to try and do this semi-regularly. I'm not like making any promises of like doing this like every week again, but I'm gonna.
I do miss my YouTube channel, if not the topics. So,
yeah. Well, I did at one point say that I was going to do an edited video once a month, and that was unfortunately more than 5 years ago, and I have not released another video since then.
I'm going to get back to my channels as well.
So with like my videos, right, like none of them are edited. They're just literally me firing it up on the phone, and like someone was saying in the chat to me the other day, I like it. It's more authentic the way you do it. I said, no. The truth is, I'm just too fucking lazy to learn how to edit. That's the truth, Yeah.
Even Surus has said that he just does live streams now because editing the videos is just too much work and it's not really worth the time.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like if you do like a 10-minute video, you're probably putting about 10 hours worth of work into that, aren't you? It's
exactly that's why I always found that, including a bit of research and all that, it took me about 10 hours to do a video, and by the time I got finished editing it, it only had a runtime of 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Why do you think most of my current videos are only 12 seconds long? Other than the fact that Clapper is short form, but Clapper you can go up to 10 minutes, and I just...
Yeah, I've been thinking maybe, doing some shorts on YouTube. Just some of the quick thought things that would be a 30-second video.
You could do all those terrible, terrible dad jokes.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I was thinking of, was doing a bunch of shorts as the best of Sloth Girl. Just a bunch of jokes that she told me.
That I think, that would be actually a good thing. Just do a shit ton of shorts of the Sloth Girl's greatest hits,
So a lot of my students ask me, it's like, when are we going to use algebra in real life? And I've just started telling them one of the most important things we can learn from algebra is that the primary reasons why relationships fail can often be expressed as a function of the x.
There is that.
Very good.
Although when I had that question from my daughters, I just took them grocery shopping. Because, okay, you want to see algebra in use? You've got 2 different size jars of your different brand products. Which one is a better price per ounce?
Well, I mean, a lot of times when we use algebra, we don't even realize we're using algebra.
Yeah. Well, that was my whole point, was showing them real life situations that they would use it. You know, and like, took them to one of the houses I was working on, and it's like, yeah, that's all this stuff depends on math.
I also
You
love
can't get it to look good if you don't get your measurements right.
I was going to say, my favorite one right now is my computer science students who will ask me while surfing the internet or doom scrolling on TikTok. It's like, why do I need to learn this? When are we going to use this? It's like, you're using the effects of it right now.
Yeah.
It's like, do you not realize that this is all code underneath?
I've had to explain to some young people that their cell phone is actually a computer.
Most of my students know it's a computer, but it's like they don't get, like, they haven't really grasped. It's like, oh yeah, there's a connection between programming and, or even, you know, even it's just like, this is just one way the school is trying to teach you to break down things logically into smaller steps.
Yep.
That should be enough. Well, in my mind, telling them it's like the state says you have to is enough of a reason that they don't like that answer. It's like, why do we have to take this? The state says you have to. I mean, honestly, that's not the best answer, but it's like...
It's a true
a
answer.
legitimate answer.
It's not being dishonest. I can say that.
Yeah, although, you know, of many of the things that I learned in school, you know, math is probably what I've used the most.
Well, we all know the famous line from the song. When I think back on all the crap I learned in high school, it's a wonder I can think at all.
Well, I mean, you know, if you ever saw my writing before the spell check gets to it, you would realize that I did not retain any of the spelling, grammar, and bare minimum of the punctuation.
Yeah, if I submitted a raw draft of my writing to an editor, or they'd probably think I wrote it wearing oven mitts.
So many interesting conversations I've had with editors over the year about things like, is they plural or singular?
Yeah, mine always looks like I'm typing just hunt and peck with one finger on my right hand.
But I am probably done being a writer for a long time unless I decide, oh yeah, let's do Substack. I don't know if I want to do Substack.
I haven't not really actually written anything substantial in years. But I always kind of say that it's very interesting that certainly a couple of English teachers who told me I didn't have any hope of doing anything, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm there thinking, actually, I have had things I've written published in national newspapers in the UK and in a national magazine. So some of my teachers can't even claim that. So
yeah, I never had anything published nationally. The best I ever
now,
got
I will
was
have to
having
say
a short story published in
I will have to say it was
literary
not
magazine.
mainstream national. I will have to quantify that by saying it wasn't like mainstream, but technically national publications.
Yeah, I've been working on a story. Actually, it was one long story. Now it's turned into 3 books. And a couple weeks ago, I was doing a bunch of world building for it, which kind of stalled me out in the actual writing part. And then, well, Jenni passing away has kind of put me out of the wrong mind. Just put me in the wrong mindset for it.
Yeah.
So I need to get back to that.
Oh, yeah, that for me just goes into the whole thing of it's been hard for me to do much writing because I've just been grieving from one after another for the past 3 years.
That might make a good story. But I know how that is. Oh boy, about 25 to 35, about a whole decade, or actually really before that, about 20 to 30 in my life. If I was basically losing people left and right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically it started when Lavender Lady died, and in between that,
Oh, God,
now I've had, a friend or a pet die every 6 months on average.
So food actually bakes much better when you turn the oven on.
Yeah, it seems to work that way.
Well,
odd thing.
You know something else I found? And I didn't learn this until 6 months after I moved into this apartment. It also works better if the oven is plugged in.
Yeah.
Since I was always eating upstairs with Slothgirl, it was 6 months before I tried to turn the oven on here. But then I found out that, apparently, when they had moved it to clean between when the last person had moved out, they had forgotten to plug the oven back in.
Oh, and do you know who's claimed my bed whenever I'm not here? Now that it's put together.
Is it somebody who is an emperor goddess?
Yes. It's like she's decided the best spot of the bed is right in the middle.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, Project I was doing the final design work yesterday to have all the measurements is to build the cat gate so I can go and get Sage. So have the two cats getting used to each other. So I'll probably have her in here sometime next week. I have to arrange that with Molly because actually it's a friend of Molly's who has the kitty. But Sage needs a better home because the roommate's dog is harassing her all the time. So she's just always stressed out from the dog. Okay. Purpose was asking. Oh, there you are. You were asking about the trans energy and how it feels. So.
And can we use it to power our cars?
Well, I bet that the computers in the cars have some transistors.
Yeah, I don't need to continue this. It's, honestly, it's not that big a deal. So, but it was just kind of a weird thing to see at the time.
Yeah. Well, it would have made more sense if you'd been here earlier and, seen what they were. I think Goth is a he. I'm not certain. So I've been saying but, just that they were saying some things about their spiritual beliefs earlier on.
And probably at this time of the year, the type of energy I'm giving off is a fatigued teacher who wants to yell at students. Even when I know I shouldn't be. I mean, sometimes you need to, not necessarily yell, but you need to, raise your voice just to be heard. But
yeah, we got sleeping with cats. So 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Yep.
It says he, him, Jedi.
Okay.
Pronouns.
I thought so. I thought so. Thank you for clarifying.
I would do the whole minor Lord Master and Darth, but I've just kind of heard a couple of transphobes do that joke, so I'm trying not to do that anymore. So
Yeah, I do try to avoid transphobes as much as I can.
yeah. Well, it's like I said last week. Like I think I told you, like the first time I sort of heard the attack helicopter joke, I thought it was quite funny, but didn't know the sort of background behind it.
Yeah.
Until I got a bit of an education on that, and it was like, and I did say I think it was Jenny who actually gave me a bit of an education on that one.
I've done that about a couple of things. It's like I've made a joke, and then somebody pointed out, "Don't you realize that's a dog whistle?"
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point. You won't realize it's a dog whistle because if you don't know it's a dog whistle.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. That's how I learned about some of the dog whistles. That, yeah, I didn't know that it, had that meaning under it.
I think we should replace all transphobes with transams. Just imagine how much better like the car scene would be.
Sure, why not? I get a lot of strange results when I start typing in trans. Because it doesn't know if I mean transgender or transformers or transistors. And even when I get to transformers, then it doesn't know if I'm talking about an electrical component or about a cartoon robot.
Well, considering I can see you typing information on all of those.
That's what I'm saying. They're all in my search history, so it doesn't know which one to complete it with.
I mean, transformers aren't generally, well, transformers are generally used in electronics and electrical contexts. Transformers, the robots, are typically used when discussing the cartoon.
Yep. But see, I go searching for both. I go searching for electrical components, and I go searching for the robots.
Technically, I've been on board a Transformer from the movie, so yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. They used the submarine HMS Alliance. They used in one of the movies that was like a primitive Transformer. I think it was like the fourth film or something, and but that's actually like an exhibit. That's actually an exhibit in Portsmouth. I mean, it was quite funny. It was just quite funny to me knowing the geography, watching that fourth movie. Is like how they got from Portsmouth to London in like 5 minutes, and looking at it. It's but yeah, that's it. They used the submarine HMS Alliance, which is like a museum. City of Portsmouth, not far from where I live, has got a lot of like naval exhibits because it's like a raw, it's very much a Royal Navy town. But you got like the things like the HMS Victory, HMS Warrior, the Mary Rose, like all the old historical ships. But they've got like a submarine museum there. Like HMS Alliance is like the sort of showpiece.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the museum at the Portsmouth Navy Yard, and that is one of the things I would like to see one day.
It is very worth a visit. I would say, I mean, if you go on HMS Victory, just be warned, it is very claustrophobic. It's very, bear in mind the average height of the time. My stepfather used to volunteer at the Mary Rose exhibit, but and then you've got something there called HMS Warrior, which was like Britain's first like ironclad warship, which is like quite big in comparison to the other two things there. But
yeah, well, it's World War II naval developments are one of my special interests. But I've been through the U-505. Is part of a museum in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I've been through that several times.
I'm surprised, given where you live, you haven't seen any of the museum ships on the Great Lakes.
No, it's a bit of a drive, but I should drive up to Duluth and check some of those out. I did do that once, and I, saw some of the ships from a distance, and I did get a tour of one of the iron ore haulers. I forget the name of it now.
Probably doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, but just one of those ore ships, and it's like I really didn't have a concept for how big each of the holds in that ship was. Because it's not like just the size of a garage. It's like three car garages stacked on top of each other.
Those freighters can haul more than like several trains, so
Yeah, just walking into the empty cargo hold, just kind of gave me a whole new perspective on it.
Mm.
But here I will not be able to visit any museum ships because, well, the Wabash River is not navigable.
On the way back from that trip, happened to stop at a lighthouse museum that we found along the way, and wasn't really even aware of it when we were stopping there, but that day happened to be the anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and pretty much that whole lighthouse museum was dedicated to the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I got a friend who's a former work colleague. He's now retired. Was a friend of he was like an actual one of the last sort of lighthouse keepers in the UK before they all kind of became like automated.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like literally like one of the last actual like keepers,
Mm-hmm.
Because we always used to use that joke on The Simpsons about him when he was at work. Like, whenever he pipe up with a little like snarky comment and say, "Oh, did you watch The Simpsons last night?" Homer says he's going to see the loneliest man in the world, the lighthouse keeper. So,
yeah, although, as I'm not big about going out in public around other people, I can see a certain appeal to that life.
Yeah.
But
I definitely can.
Well, first of all, most of the lighthouses are automated now, so.
Yeah.
And I think I think there's a reason more than a few lighthouse keepers went insane.
Yeah, I can understand how it could do that to some people.
Probably because they saw Cthulhu.
Or the spirals.
I mean, if I was out there with a couple of cats for 6 months at a time, not so bad. I mean, we already discussed earlier about dating, so.
With lack thereof.
Yeah, and I often talk to my cats because, again, especially in Michigan, the cats gave me more intelligent responses than any neighbors could.
Why is this just because of the people in Michigan, or?
It was a very small town in rural Michigan, and the area's only claim to fame was that county had the highest rate of alcoholism of anywhere in the country for like 12 years straight.
I mean, I'm sure that could have led to lots of interesting conversations.
Yeah,
none you'd want to have, but
yeah, and just a lot of people there were MAGA because for some reason they believed that electing Trump was suddenly going to get the iron mines to open up again. And that's basically that whole town had been dying since the 80s when the last of the mines had closed down.
Yeah.
What is it with Trump supporters and being that? Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't need to say that, but it's just like the
Well,
coal
Okay, and
miners.
this town was so bad that not only did the trains not come through anymore, but at some point in the 90s, they had literally pulled up all the tracks and sold them for scrap iron. So it's like, to get the mines working, they would have needed to rebuild all the infrastructures for the trains to haul anything out of the area.
It's just like the coal miners in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. It's like Trump is going to bring these coal mining jobs back. It's like the reason there are fewer coal miner jobs isn't because the company's downsized. It's because coal mining is dangerous and they automated.
Yeah, well, and they went to strip mining with the huge machines, so they only needed one guy to do the work that used to take 30 men.
And strip mining, even though it has higher environmental impact, is safer.
I mean, I get it into a way because it's like obviously like in Britain in like 1980, you had a lot of sort of coal mining communities that got absolutely ripped apart when the pits closed, and there was nothing put in there to replace that industry. So I kind of, in a way, I can sort of see that fear.
Yeah.
There's been arguments that we're seeing a similar thing with AI now.
But I'm also seeing what I'm seeing a lot with AI is that companies are overestimating the capabilities of what LLMs.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, well, a lot of companies seem to be thinking that AI can handle all of their customer support. And they just...
Oh, more than that.
Yeah, but they don't even consider that customers may have some questions that the AI is not programmed to answer.
Or doesn't have the training data for.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is, like, if you watch these closely, it's like in a couple months they'll have to hire people back.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the same levels, but they do hire a lot of people back because, oh my gosh, AIs are not human and cannot handle everything.
Yeah. Yeah, if the customer's got a question that needs more than a yes or no answer, a lot of the times you need a human being to parse that out.
Well, even sometimes the yes or no answer needs a human being.
Yeah, especially if the customer is not that knowledgeable about the product and doesn't know what to call the parts of it.
Yeah, and LLMs aren't designed, and it's like, even today, it's like a discovering AI headline. Someone's like, give me an example of AI, and someone's like, ChatGPT. I'm like, no, ChatGPT is not general AI. No. Like, yes, it is. It's like, no. All ChatGPT is designed to do is designed to give you a human-sounding answer. The fact that we can use it for other things is just a consequence of the way the data it operates.
No, these are limited AIs.
Well, that's what most of AI research is. We're developing AIs for specific tasks.
We do have a few that are sort of can multitask, sort of, but we don't have anything that's a general AI.
Well, they're calling them AI. I remember they used to use the term expert systems.
Well, an expert system is a type of AI.
To a certain,
I mean,
because then they didn't need such a base of general information. They could focus on just one subject.
Yeah, that's a limited AI.
Well, so are LLMs, but
yeah.
But it's like, and then a lot of them didn't realize, like, the robotic vacuum cleaner uses machine learning, which is a type of AI.
Basically, the limited AI is good at doing one thing really well, and with the LLMs, is basically it's good at word prediction.
Yeah, and well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it being good at one thing well. I mean, that's mostly what we need in a lot of applications. It's like, my robot doesn't need to be able to psychoanalyze me. Just needs to know the path.
To be able to map out the floor and avoid the cat.
Yes, and furniture.
Well, I figure, the furniture goes with just mapping out the territory because that's static. a cat or a dog is more of a problem because you can't predict where they're going to be laying when the thing starts.
Well, I like the videos where the cat or dog is laying on top and getting a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Guys,
Roombas are just Ubers for cats.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to bounce because it's coming up on like 10:30 at night here, and I need to get some shut-eye in because I've got work in the morning.
Yeah,
so
actually, this is probably a good place for
because
us to shut down here. So
2.5 hours, almost
Yes.
that, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so Jeff, you got any final thoughts on anything?
Not massively at the moment. I'll just say I am toying with the idea at the moment of making at least a semi-return to YouTube, but as I said, just more personal therapy for me than anything else at the moment with anything I get on there and talk about. If I go forward, I'm gonna try and somewhat stay off of politics a little bit in the future now, because I'm just frightened of it having like real world consequences for me if I actually get on there and talk about it now. But other than that, no, I mean, I'm just doing my thing really, but I've got to make a move because I need to get some sleep. So I'll catch you guys later. All right?
Yep. Bye-bye. Okay, Porpoise.
All right, I am the Sinister Porpoise. When you think of Sinister Porpoises, think of the Sinister Porpoise. I have been off and on my own The Sinister Porpoise channel. Right now, I've just been so busy because my graduation for the master ceremony is this Saturday. I'm also pretentious enough that I'll be wearing my regalia to work on Friday. But hey, it's hat day, so the universe is giving me permission to do silly things. I think. That's the way that works, right?
Yeah, it works.
If you want to follow me on Clapper, it's Mad Computer Scientist. If you want to follow me on YouTube, it's The Sinister Porpoise. If you just want to follow me, you can come around behind me and see what I look like from the back.
They really should bring back art classes in school, because how else are the kids going to learn how to draw realistic eyes on their eyelids?
Okay, Mage.
Don't really have much going on at the moment. Like I said, I've got 2 channels that are basically stagnant right now. I'm supposed to try and do a Thursday night show tomorrow if you're up for it.
Oh. If I'm home in time, I can't be certain what time I'll be home.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I might have figured out the issue Greg was having with seeing a tiny screen, which I keep telling him he just needs to put it on full screen, turning it sideways, but he has issues with it. Apparently, he says he has issues with his microphone. Then, for some reason, I don't know what the hell's going on with his system.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, for the anime, I'll be home in time.
Yeah,
midnight
show.
Yeah, I was thinking about you doing your media musings. I thought
No. I haven't gotten back to that yet.
Yeah, I'll be home after dark. So yeah.
Okay, so we can get together here for that, and that's about all I'm doing. If anybody wants to join in, just you can send me a DM on Twitter or Blue Sky or Discord. I'll give you the link.
Yep. Well, I of course want to thank all our contributors: ReGios, Great Hartwick, Junie, the Lavender Lady, Kitty the Atheist, and Robert X. And yes, I am still getting Patreon from the Lavender Lady. So apparently she left a bank account that her family doesn't know about, and it's still paying everyone she subscribed to on Patreon.
Okay.
I find that really fun. Even I think she would appreciate that.
Yeah,
Where the last of her money is going.
yeah, I think she'd be happy with that contribution.
Yep. And unfortunately, we had to move Jenny's name from the supporters to the memories. Yep. And then,
And I'm gonna have to convince a cat that I need to take a nap and need to lay where she's currently at.
yeah, so yeah, I don't have anything else going on except being back here the same time next week. So, with that, we will bid you all a good night, good day, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. What's a spooky that you're posting the link for? Spooky Bed Hair put a link in the side chat, but I don't know what channel that's linking to.
ATM Live. We'll see what it says. Let's see what it goes to.
Oh, he says it's Maya's.
Bad Science Sunday.
Okay. Hit the wrong button a little too soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that. I was trying to see what was going to, but.
Okay, later all.
Hey.